That's kind of in this race.
MC Wynn.
What did Dad say? What did he say is gonna happen? Oh, it doesn't?
I'd like to go ahead and call the October 7th East Ascension Drainage meeting to order.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Let it be known, Ms. Secretary, Mr. Todd Lambert is absent. Mr. Kluwat, would you lead us in the invocation followed by the pledge?
Yes, I would. Well, everyone, please stand for the invocation. In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Dear Lord, we thank you for this day. Lord, as we reach the end of the 2019 hurricane season, we ask that you keep everyone safe. We ask that you carry us through this. Lord, we always ask that you look over our workers, that they take care of them and bring them home safely as they're all trying to do a job. We ask that you continue as we move into the cold season of winter, that you look toward the elderly and that we look to our neighbors and try to take care of our neighbors. And Lord, ask that we remain with civil tongue as we try to do your work for Ascension Parish. We ask this in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Where's the home switch?
You got Dempsey's glasses?
Got me off. Thank everyone for coming. Anyone wishing to speak on any agenda item, please sign in with Ms. Liz. We're going to move on to number 4, the acceptance of the September 9th meeting minutes. Moved by Mr. Johnny, second by Mr. Benny. Under the chairman's report and announcements, I'd like to move number 8, agenda item 8. We're gonna move it to, under the drainage report as 6A. And under drainage, I have no other chairman's reports. We'll move on to number 6, the drainage report. Mr. Joy Turo.
We have several ongoing projects. Welcome, Commissioners. We have the New River Channel Improvement Project that's going on as expected. We also have Bryant Hammett and Associates that's working on the Lake Park and the Charleston area drainage studies on Charleston and for the that subdivision of Lake Park to work on those plans. We hope to meet with them later this week to get a report and just to get their status. Wallace Acres was under construction and doing well, but there was discovered that the gas line was in the middle of the ditch where we're doing our drainage work, and it was too shallow. So we've had to have the contractor pause for a while that gas line is being relocated. And the gas company has worked really quickly to get engineering plans together and to put a crew on site that's doing a good job in getting that out of the way. Once that's done, we'll be able to finish the project. The Laurel Ridge Extension project is continuing to be worked on by GSA. They just late last week submitted 95% final plans. So we're just going through those plans and hope to get some final plans done shortly. You know, we're going to give our comments along with several other people. Are going to give comments on those plans, but they have a lot more information than the previous submittal. So that's going to be vetted, and we'll get a final set of plans shortly. They did, GSA had also mentioned that yet another permit milestone was reached, what's called a coastal use permit extension. Because of the delays, that extension was necessary, and they did receive it to where there shouldn't be a delay having to do with the permit process. Fish Bayou is also continuing on. All the right-of-way that needs to be purchased and the drainage and construction servitudes have been laid out in the field, surveyed, documented. They're going to be assessed, and we are working towards getting that property to where we can continue on with the project. We have, agenda item 7 is going to address the Pelican Point cross drain repair project. So, we can have that discussion during that item.
Item 8.
Number 8.
Oh, number 8, sorry. And that's it.
Mr. Aaron?
Yes, sir, Mr. Turo. Thank you very much.
Sure.
As far as the riprap in Muddy Creek, I see that's going along very well right now. And I know you've told me this before. How far along Muddy Creek will that extend from 42? Do you know where it ends? You can get back to me later, because you've told me before, and I forgot. Obviously, we both forget things.
Right, I certainly do. I've got age on you, though. I've got a good excuse. But yeah, it's a good ways down. I'm thinking it's over 2 miles as far as the meandering.
Okay.
It's at a bridge, a big concrete bridge. If you know
Yes.
what road that's on.
Yeah, I'm just. I
Concrete
thought I
bridge
knew
that's
where it
in a
was,
curve.
but I didn't want to say anything because I'm not sure exactly. So I'll wait and get
He
final
said
word.
Manchac Acres.
Manchac Acres. Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I thought. Good. Thank you all very much.
Mr. Bill?
I don't have anything.
Mr.
Thank you.
Travis? Mr. Don? Mr. Rennie?
Yeah, Joey, you or either GSA, someone can, give me an update on the last, round of discussions with Livingston Parish and the state on the pending, lawsuit that we have, on the Law Ridge levy extension.
That would not be, I don't know if we're,
Maybe Mr. Daniels would like to. We've, I know they had a meeting today, with Livingston, and there were some things that came out of that meeting. Could
Well,
you-
we didn't move forward with anything, Mr. Councilman, but we did, I think everybody wants to come to some sort of conclusion to this, and we agreed that the engineers would sit down, only the engineers and DOTD, and Mr. President told me he's already talked to the Secretary of DOTD, and they're going to help with this, and I've been talking to the drainage guys in DOTD, the two that came over to the meeting that day, and they've also agreed. So we'll sit down with Livingston's engineers, and we have we'll sit in GSA, and we'll try to come to a conclusion on what the real science is. And I think once we do that, then I do believe we can get this resolved.
Yes. And it's my understanding, talking to folks that were at the meeting today, that trying to set up a meeting with DOTD.
Right.
And they reviewed a Dewberry model that had came out that basically doesn't agree with the original modeling. And,
Well, I don't know if it agrees or disagrees, because we don't know what was modeled that day.
yes, we're yet to have somebody at the
We need to
table
have-
that can say they saw the Dewberry model that DOTD paid $3 million for. Now, they don't have any more money, so they can't make them go back and look at it. They probably can't even bill a while or talk to them. I don't know.
Well, I think they'll be cooperative.
And then have Dewberry review the Ascension model, and I think, like I said, Mr. President, what you this evening, you was on the phone with Secretary Sean Wilson from DOTD, and William, you got Ed Knight and Chris Knotts, and everybody's lined up with DOTD.
Pat Landry, yes, sir.
This has been a stalemate. We've been held hostage for a long time. We haven't seen anybody come forward with any credible evidence to dispute the true merits of the project that we have in front of us. Matter of fact, it's hard to get anybody outside of Ascension Parish, this group right here, to get involved and even looking at our model on its true merits. And that's what I said in the last meeting. I wasn't at the meeting today. But this is going nowhere fast. Everything is escalating. We have pending land that may or may not be available, may be harder to get. We have good, clean right-of-ways. I think GSA and the Punch Train Levy District for sure has worked hard at trying to sustain every permit that we have in front of us and extend them or try to not let them run out. The people from Sealer's Point on Gold Place, all the way through White Cypress Swamp, through Lake Martin, all the way through, are sitting there with no protection, that we feel like, given this delay, we probably could have just about had the thing built by now. And, you know, it's just
Frustrating.
it's frustrating. It's becoming a political game, both on the federal level, state level. And, you know, everybody's talking about proposed projects, and we're looking into the group that we're joining, the district we're joining to, on the 1.2 billion. I looked at the schedule, you know, hell, it might be 2 years before any of that money's dispersed, credibly dispersed, to go in a direction other than to engineer or look at something. And before somebody starts turning dirt.
2 years would be an amazing feat for turning dirt.
Well, there's a good chance that I'm not gonna be sitting here in 2 months, that I could probably come back in 4 more years and maybe vote on where that's going. You know what I mean? This is very,
Sad
very
but true.
frustrating. Like I said, I hadn't asked 1,000 people over there in that area to come here and stand at that podium at 3 minutes apiece, you know, for we can be here all night, all right? They look at all elected officials to represent them and do what's right. And this is not going anywhere. We're hoping that the political era will change next Saturday night, for as not necessarily in anybody's favor, but that, hey, some elections will be over with in all the parishes and everybody can settle down and try to do some business. It's sad, but that's the way it is. So with that being said, Mr. Chair, Cody, correct me if I'm wrong, but I would like to offer up a motion to put this on the agenda, put an agenda item on tonight, to add an agenda item, to make a resolution to authorize the administration to go forward with trying to get this reconciled.
Trying to authorize them tonight, or are you trying to get them to come forward with a written resolution next month for y'all to vote on it?
I'm ready to authorize them tonight.
Okay, so if you want to do that, first thing you have to do is make a motion
I'll
to amend
second
the
it.
agenda.
I made the motion to put it on the agenda.
Got your second?
All right, and you need a unanimous
Look.
vote.
Roll call.
I'm finished. You got
Mr.
the
Chairman,
chair.
call for a roll call vote on the motion.
Mr. Secretary?
Commissioner Cagnolati,
Yes.
Commissioner Cazzo,
Yes.
Commissioner Kaluat,
Yes.
Commissioner Dawson,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Chairman Dempsey Lambert,
Yes.
Commissioner Lawler,
Yes.
Commissioner Satterley,
Yes.
Commissioner Turner.
Yes.
Pass.
All right.
We'll put that on as agenda item B, 6B.
6B.
Motion.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Joy, you finished? Mr. Ron, you had anything on? I'm sorry.
Terry.
Mr. Terry, you had anything?
Yes, I did.
Go ahead.
I want to thank GSA and particularly Kimberly Cole I accompanied her last week down to New Orleans and picked up a permit to construct the Fish Bayou project. So I could not be more excited. It was a wonderful opportunity to go down and pick that permit up, actually have it in my hand. And I thank Kimberly very much, not only for all her hard work together with her associates at GSA, but for the ride down there. It was a great experience.
Went to the Corps?
Went to the Corps,
Good deal.
where they had to sandbag their building, but we won't talk about that.
There you go.
Mr. Johnny?
Thank you, sir, Mr. Chairman. Joey, just a quick question. You talked about Lake Park in Charleston, Lake Park being my district. You said they'll be giving a report this week?
Yes, we're going to meet with them later this week.
Any idea when that might proceed? Are they going to come up with a whole proposal, what they're going to do?
They have the preliminary, all the existing material, the topo, all the survey work done, and we're going to put heads together to try to come up with, a good design of where each ditch, is to go. So they have a general idea of what's out there, where the pipes are, where water is supposed to go now, assuming that all the ditches were dug nice and clean, but then where do we go from here?
Well, I've been in that area quite a bit in the last year, and they have a lot of metal culverts that are rotten and they're caving in. They can't even blow it. They've tried to blow them out with our equipment. It won't
No,
work.
that'll be one of the,
It will be.
that's no question there. We'll
Okay.
replace all of those, all
Okay.
the metal pipes.
Okay.
Sure.
That's all.
And they'll be
Thank you.
sized correctly also.
Yeah.
And they'll be on grade.
Good. That's all, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Bennett?
Can we get an update as far as the off-road ditches, where we are? I know we've got a permit or work order that's been in place for a good while now. I don't remember exactly how long off of Bradbury Trace. See where that's fallen at in there. I'm sure there's a bunch around people have. That's just one of them in particular. Find out that we did our contract earlier this year and got all of our guys on off-road ditches. Where are we at as far as catching up on permit, work orders and stuff like that?
Yes, sir. One quick comment in Lake Park, jump back to that. We will not be putting metal pipes back in the ground.
No.
We'll go back.
PVC.
As far as the work orders, yes, sir, they are trending down. I gave you guys an update in May. We were at 350 work orders, and as of today, we're at 305 still planned. So they are trending down. You mentioned Bradbury. I've got it on the report as dotted and lined up to be dug out. So if you guys don't mind, I was just going to go right into kind of that report about the work order. So we are seeing trends going down, but we are having a lot of calls come in while they're trending down. So it's kind of equal amount going out, but some coming in at the same time. But numbers are continually trending down, so it is producing. Current work orders that are in progress, we got Forest Heights rear ditches near the Bird Island ditch. They're doing some erosion repair on the Bird Island ditch. While they're there, they're digging the Forest Heights ditch, which after that's complete, Wesley Howell Lane and all that drains into it. So they're catching that whole block while they're there. Lejeune Road is part of that erosion repair. Lamar Moran and Ash Lane is a ditch, off-road ditch being dug. Jesse Road is some erosion repair. Alex Road near Church Point area is outfall ditch. In Sorrento, we got Shelby Lane off-road ditch. Recently, they dug an outfall on Ruby Street, outfall on Oak Street, outfall on Hackberry and Antioch. They're currently digging on Norman Dyer and Edna Lane. Some erosion, working with the city of Gonzales a little bit here on the mental health unit on Worthy Road. We had a issue right there with some structures almost getting water in them in flash floods. We just dug that ditch and we'll be going into Park Vesta on the main outfall in Park Vesta. Also on Wood Run and Tommy Moore, we have some off-road ditch work there. Lily Valley off of Loosemore, some drainage ditch work going on there. Dutchtown Middle School, we got 3 ditches near Eagles Way Court being dug. Dutchtown High School has an outfall ditch they're currently on. Rifle Range off of Highway 30, we got an outfall there and then continuing upstream to Highway 30. Old Perkins Place is being dressed up and some of the work they've done there. Muddy Creek Armoring is underway. Laverne Stafford is box culvert upgrades. He had some bottlenecks there that they're upgrading. The shredder crew, we do have some maintenance on the shredder. It's been shipped to Wilco, and they're reviewing it now. We're going to have to do a track repair on the shredder, so it will be down for some time. I don't have a full detail until that shop gives us a report. Like you said, jobs to be looked at and currently scheduled is Paula Street, outfall from Paula Street where they just upgraded the culvert crossing to the Burat ditch will be upgraded. Sweet Magnolia's off-road ditches are lined up. Cobblestone, St. Andrews Court, Bradbury, Donaldson Drive was one that was requested. We have a servitude reached on that ditch that was been a problem. Loose Moor and Stevenson Road are some of the jobs you'll see coming up. So constantly working on these work orders and dealing with issues around the parish, and we are trending down on the work order numbers. And the grass cutting crews have been working overtime with this weather we've been having. Every time they get a chance, they're out there cutting. We got guys, when machines break down, they got weed eaters out there cutting around signs and curbs and bridge railings and whatever they can find to stay busy and productive. So everybody is up and running and working as much as we can for the residents.
Appreciate you, Ron. Bill?
Thank you, Ron. What, do you have any idea of average time from when you, input a work order till it, starts to work?
That's a really hard question, Mr. Bill. I can't give you a average time. They're all different in components of what it takes to get them done. I mean, it could be from just saying no work orders on the books, it might take a month. But if you go on the list of what you got, it might take 6 months to a year with the amount of work we got on the work orders list.
Well, I mean, like when we used to use that, we would use that number to tell you what, you know, what your backlog is or how,
Yes, sir.
you know,
We're
so
still
that
doing
would
that.
be an idea of how much work that you have outstanding.
Correct.
So
We do
just
have a, we
didn't
do
know
have
if
a,
you guys monitored that or not.
yes, we have those sections in the parish, and each section has its own list of work orders. And we had a constituent of yours come in today, was upset. We called 2 weeks ago.
Not mine, one of mine.
Yes, sir, it was. And, I mean, I explained to him, look, we get your concern, but we're going to be fair to everyone and try to work these things as best we can. But if priority comes up, we try to look at that too. But most of the cases are pretty consistent with just needing a routine cleaning.
One more question, more specific. You talked about Donaldson. Well, there's two. There's one off-road. I guess you're just talking about off-road,
Yeah,
because there's
the
one
outfall of the
on
back.
Donaldson and there's one off-road on Donaldson.
The off-road went at the dead end on the right.
Yeah,
There was a
but you're
gentleman-
talking about behind the houses.
Yes.
That's the one. Okay. And so we have everything
We had to
to
get a
start to
servitude
work
from
on
the
that.
landowner at the dead end. He granted that. We
Okay.
also have to get one from the landowner from his property to the Panama, which we do not see in opposition to that. We're just going to get it when we go out there.
Okay.
A right-of-way agent knows the gentleman. He said he'd sign when we get there, so.
Okay.
We just have
So
to-
what are we looking at to start the project?
It's lined up, probably by the next meeting, we'll probably be either on it or working towards getting there.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Ron.
Mr. Travis?
No question right now.
Doc?
Yeah, Ron, Mr. Troy Caraccioli lives in Seven Oaks, summoned me out to his lovely abode just recently. 3 or 4 of his neighbors met with me as well. We walked across, as I did 2 or 3 years ago, to the ditch that's right behind Seven Oaks, runs parallel to the railroad tracks. You may or may not recall the parish cleared that ditch and dug it. It was quite an ordeal, did an excellent job. Like I say, 2 or 3 years ago, but it's overgrown now. When I stood next to it, the weeds and the popcorn trees were taller than me. I'm 6'4". I might add that it was decades before the last clean out. So I don't know if this is on our list or not, and I know it was quite a feat to get it done last time because we had to work with the railroad people, and we all know how tough that can be. I believe actually they did some of this work on the weekends and had to block off both the Duplessis Road and the, help me here, maybe it was at Post Office Road intersections to do the work. Anyway, that ditch is no longer draining, to what I can tell. It's holding a whole lot of stagnant water. It's highly overgrown. Is it on any list, or can we get it on a list?
I'd have to go back and look, Doc. I don't have it in front of me, but if there's not one, we can get the gentleman's name and look into it. And
Okay, I will be emailing you probably tomorrow on that, give you his name.
we will have to, like
I
you
snapped a
said,
few photographs, so I'll send you those as well.
we will be having to deal with the railroad on that, by the way.
I
Reach out
totally
to-
understand that. We had to do that last time. Actually, Mr. President was real helpful in getting that done, so perhaps he would be inclined to help us get it done again.
All right.
Thank you.
Look into it.
That's it, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Aaron?
No, I really don't have anything more to add. Thank you, though.
Mr. Randy?
Yeah, Ron, I spoke to you before the meeting about a couple of roads in my district. You'd mentioned the shredder then. So if the shredder's gonna be down for a long time, is that something that you would possibly go rent or what? I mean, I don't know. I never fooled with shredders, so.
No, it's pretty expensive.
Okay.
Yes, sir. We can get you a price on it from a company, but we may wind up having to go out for bid if we try to do that.
Well, I don't, you know,
Yeah.
I don't expect that, but I'm just saying, how long do you expect this shredder? You saying the ditches, I'm talking about two things. You're waiting on the shredder and you're waiting on a permit.
Yes, sir.
Explain to us the permit process, because we got a lot of ditches being dug, you know.
This is
What-
with the
what-
shredder.
What ditches you clean without a permit, which ones you don't?
With the shredder machine, Elos Environmentals are consulted. They recommend that all the shredder jobs we go on, we get permits before we go to them. We have 2 or 3 permitted jobs in the pipeline already, once we get the shredder back. The one you're talking about has been applied for, as well as a couple of other ones that are in the pipeline to get permitted. Once we get those, the shredder has work in front of it. So we have that lined up. The ditches that we currently maintenance, there's a 404 exemption for just maintaining those ditches that are, you're just going in and do a maintenance clean, you're not enlarging
I
it.
guess being simple, I don't understand that you've maintained ditch multiple times over the years. So now we need a permit for it?
Elos reviewed it and suggested we need a permit there. And that's what we following their advice on that.
So they're recommending that you get a permit?
They saying that it requires a core permit to do that.
Okay, there you go. Clear that up. So you saying that our environmental folks says it requires that we get a permit?
Yes, sir.
I just don't see the difference in that ditch and another ditch, you know. What is it, because it's in a wetland?
Yes, sir. You have
Yeah,
to
just
track
about
through it.
90% of my district you live in, it's, your back ditch is in some wetland somewhere.
Mhm.
So is that severely hindering cleaning ditches in our district or what?
It goes into the,
Yes.
too. Yes.
Well, I'm just asking about
Yeah,
mine and that.
I mean, we use our best judgment as a routine.
I mean, we hear about one that you cleaned a couple years ago up there, and go back and clean, because you got popcorn trees 6'4", okay? Well, I got trees 30 feet tall, okay? So, I'm just asking.
It's in the wetlands in your area, and like you
That's-
said,
that's-
Prayville, you had elevation
that's-
20-something, so it
Trying
is
to clear that
highland, and it's a difference there.
I'm just trying to
And
explain to the folks that I
Hey, if
represent
we're in
why it
doubt-
takes so damn long to get something.
If we're
get
in
one
doubt,
cleaned.
we're gonna go to our consultant and see what they advise us to do.
I'm not asking you to do
Yes.
anything illegal. I'm just trying to make it very clear for me and everybody that I represent and the people watching what it
Yes.
takes to get
In
some of
addition
these
to that,
damn
you have to
ditches
have
cleaned.
drainage servitude on all of them.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Terry?
I'm good, thank you.
Mr. Johnny? No, thank you. Ben? Anything else, Ron, President?
That's it.
Well, we're gonna move on to number 6A. That would be number 8, Ms. Jones.
On September 26, 2019, the Ascension Parish Purchasing Department received 4 bids for the Ascension Parish drainage improvements, Pelican Point Parkway cross drain repair. After review, the East Ascension Drainage Department and T. Baker Smith recommend accepting the lowest responsive bid submitted by Court Construction Services and to authorize the parish president to enter into any applicable agreement or contract for this project.
I move to
Moved by Mr.
move
Bill.
forward that to the full council.
Moved by Mr. Bill.
Is there anything
Second by
I
Mr.
want to
Bell.
ask, and I'm sure y'all checked into, but I saw the bids came in over the cost estimate. Y'all have the amounts budgeted to move forward at this time?
Okay.
Once it exceeds the pre-approved budget, if it exceeds that, it goes back to finance, and it requires finance approval that they have the existing funds, and then it goes back to the parish president office, and he reviews it and has to approve it again.
So that's all happened. Is that
That's all
right, Ms.
happened.
Shivers? Thank you,
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
President.
Any other discussion? Any opposition? Motion passed. We're gonna go to 6B, Mr. Randy Cloar's resolution, Laurel Ridge.
Mr. Chairman, just since we added it to the agenda, you need to go ahead and open up public comment on it before you take a vote.
Motion open public comment.
Moved by Mr. Dodd, second by Mr. Johnny.
Motion to close.
Motion closed by Mr.
Go ahead.
Second by Ms. Johnny. We have this as item 6B, Laurel Ridge levy, resolution by Mr. Cloart. Please, go ahead.
Yes, and I definitely want the resolution to be right. Y'all have heard my concerns. I can sit here and give you another 20 minutes on it. It's not gonna change anything. I would like to make a motion to allow the administration to move forward on settling the pending legal action we have from Livingston Parish on our construction of the Laurel Ridge levee extension.
Moved by Mr. Randy
I'll
Cloart.
second that.
Second by Mr. Bill. Discussion, Mr. President.
Now, Mr. Cloart, we're talking about whatever it takes to resolve it or to file suit ourselves. Is that correct?
Within the limits
Mr.
of the
President,
law,
just to
whatever
clarify,
it takes.
not to file suit, but to proceed forward with the pending suit.
Well, we may have to file suit also.
We may have to go to court, not necessarily.
I understand that, but
Yeah,
you
you can include both of them.
you do realize we owe a lot of money on this project, okay? That's what I'm talking about.
Well, we got potentially losing the funding from the Punch Train Levy District.
So look, if you want to make your motion to move forward with the pending suit and also bring another suit if necessary, just to encompass everything, that would probably be the way to do it.
I don't have a problem amending my motion for that.
Ms. Liz, you have that?
There you go.
Mr. Dawson got the second.
I have a question too, though.
Discussion, Mr. Bill.
Could we just get a rundown on, has there been a suit filed? I'm kind of in the dark on this. Tell me where we stand today.
You want to handle that, Mr. Cloart, or you want me to give him a
No,
brief
man.
synopsis?
We got a suit and we got a move.
Of what?
Okay, this date,
Memorandum of,
Oh, okay.
yeah, this dates back to last year, members of the board. Livingston Parish filed a lawsuit against State of Louisiana Department of Natural Resources, the Parish of Ascension, the state's Office of Coastal Management. I think they also amended it to add the Pontchartrain Levee District
did.
once they realized that they were part of this project. It was set for an injunction hearing, and the parties agreed to continue the hearing, and they entered into a memorandum of understanding, which basically allowed the project to proceed forward for, and GSA can clarify, but I think they were allowed to move forward with designing the construction plans, and I think PLD was allowed to move forward with obtaining the right-of-ways. And I think now we have just reached the
No.
point. No right-of-ways, just,
No right away.
okay.
To do the engineering, and is the engineering, we're at a completion of that, or we're near
getting there.
completion on that? Okay,
it's around the corner.
okay. And, okay, so there really hasn't been an injunction issued.
No, just a
There's
motion
this
for an
memorandum of understanding that to replace the hearing, is that,
Yeah, it was basically the document that all parties entered into as the consideration for continuing the hearing.
okay.
And that was signed on January of 2019, so.
That's
10
So
months
what,
ago.
let's get specific, Mr. Clark, what are we are asking that Livingston drop this suit, or is that,
Well,
are we saying we're ready to go and let's have the injunctive hearing, or what?
Well, first thing is that they have the opportunity always to drop the suit.
Sure,
If-
and let me, I'll read you the obligations of the parties, because I think
Yeah,
that pretty
there
much
you go.
gives you a good understanding of what we agreed to. Basically, it says there's currently pending in the 19 JDC of the Parish of East Baton Rouge, a suit by Livingston Parish against Ascension Parish, East Ascension Consolidated Gravity Drainage District, and Pontchartrain Levee District to enjoin the Laurel Ridge Levee Extension Project. Livingston Parish agrees to stay all proceedings in the matter and file no objection to the design phase and/or right-of-way acquisition against any party to this agreement. East Ascension Consolidated Gravity Drainage District and the PLD agree that no construction shall begin on the project until mitigation of the project impact on Livingston Parish is addressed. East Ascension Consolidated Gravity Drainage District and PLD further agree that after completion of engineering and design, if the parties cannot reach an agreement to address mitigation, the parties may seek resolution by having the matter currently pending to be set with the court, and it says currently pending, to be set with the court in which it is pending. So basically to set the matter for hearing.
Yeah.
So are we authorizing that to go to the hearing?
We're authorizing the administration to meet and come with some kind of possibly, hopefully an agreement to drop this. And if not,
Go to
get
the
ready to
hearing.
go to court.
Go to
Let's
the
hear
hearing.
it.
You finished, Bill?
I am. Thank you.
Mr. Turner?
I got it.
Well, I guess, did we file suit already, or did they file suit?
Yeah, they filed
They
it.
filed it.
Okay. And when did they file it?
It was last year sometime. I don't think they had a date on that one, a file stamp copy.
And we already filed the answer, I'm assuming?
Yeah, it's got to that point. They had an injunction hearing set, and it was continued to stay between all the parties based on entering into that.
And did we file any counterclaims?
I don't think at this point.
July 2nd, 2018.
Okay, so we haven't filed any counterclaims?
No. No
And do we intend
counterclaims,
to?
no reconventional demands, no third parties, anything at this point in time.
Do we intend to?
I mean, we're gonna have to
I can
figure out what
expand on
causes of
that.
action exists at this point in time.
Go ahead, Mr. Cloy.
As always, we're going to try to work it out. I feel, and I've stated it in this meeting before, that anybody that's north of us or across the river from us on the Amite River that's doing any kind of drainage improvement, that's putting another gallon of water into the Amite River or the Bayou Manchac, we should file suit against. Okay? Because apparently, we don't have a lot of allies out there, all right? So let's, so I haven't requested that tonight. That's my thoughts.
Okay.
And so I don't, any of the meetings that we've had, and I've sat in almost every meeting except the one today with DOTD, there's nobody talked about suing each other, okay? Talked about trying to settle this thing, this injunction. that's
Except that
pending.
Livingston has sued us.
Yes, yes. It's right here.
Mr. Dan?
Thank you.
Yeah, just to be clear, Mr. Chairman, before we vote, and so my question goes to Mr. Kluot. So your motion, you say, I think I understand it, you want to empower the administration to try to work this out, but part of your motion still is, if they can't, then empower them equally to file a lawsuit or not?
To go to the hearing.
Yes.
No.
To go to a hearing,
Well,
not file a
not
lawsuit.
file a lawsuit, but to have the injunctive hearing.
Yeah, have the hearing.
I just want to be sure before we vote. what we're
I
voting.
believe that any court of law, with good sense, if we look at the merits of our project, how it was designed, will hold up.
Well, I would recommend that you also allow any counterclaims to be brought if necessary, because it may be something that needs to be heard at the
I'll
same
amend
time.
my motion to allow any counterclaims brought forward if necessary.
And Cody, we can do all three?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, legally we can.
Any other, Mr. Aaron, on the resolution?
I accept that.
Mr. Benny?
I think we need to put a time frame on this. If we can't settle it by negotiations, when do we proceed? I mean, we could sit here, we didn't put an end date on, we can talk to this till cows come home.
I would ask that that we add a fourth point to that report back to us at the drainage meeting, the November drainage meeting.
If I tell you what, everybody knows, all of our Washington delegations supposed to be trying to help this. The senators, our representatives, Mr. Graves' office, all of them know about this. There's no secrets out there that we been sued by Livingston. Even though we talked to them and we were supposed to work it out, they still sued us, okay? So I just want y'all to realize it's time to quit playing games with them, and y'all realizing that. Clueout's been in the meetings, and the last meeting I went to at DOTD, I got ambushed, and it was really bad. So I'm sick and tired of it, and I mean, you guys know how long, it's our money. This is no federal funds in this project. Besides the PLD's $8 million, the rest of it is Ascension Parish tax dollars. And this project has been delayed that long. I don't know a dollar amount of how much we lost, but we lost a lot of money on this project so far, without even starting it. So, I mean, it's time to quit playing around.
I just want to give a quick review of the project,
Sure.
if you would allow, if y'all would allow. It's a project, in 2007, it was part of a major project, for the drainage, and as part of major bond money, it was listed as one of the projects. It was first developed as to come, behind behind Gold Place Road, and come up and just stay with Prince Road and go behind 431 to catch part of, leaving out White Cypress Swamp and curving around and only going just basically to the lake. It was shot down tremendously by the engineering firm that was handling it at the time, by the Corps of Engineers. They wouldn't, so they pushed them a little bit closer to the highway, to the wet-dry interface, and then it became such a very, very expensive project. And so in 2008, early 2009, we challenged another engineering firm to take a look at it and try to find some way, and just in layman terms, hey, why in the hell can't we go straight across the swamp if we would let the swamp go back and forth? And they worked on developing that. And we worked with the Corps of Engineers for years before the permit was actually requested, and felt like that everybody had a good plan on trying to get this done. It wasn't, the engineering wasn't final, and they bought into it. We've been through 4 colonels, I think, down there since then. This project, when it came back, when it finally got the preliminary design, and it went for public comment period, it was well vetted. Matter of fact, there was some opposition to it from people within our parish that allowed it to go into an extended comment period, and it was well vetted. It was in the newspaper. It was everywhere, okay? And through hard work and dedication and taking care of all the details, it was permitted. And every major entity that had anything to do with state permitting bought into it. And it wasn't until after it was permitted and we felt like we were ready to go dig a shovel of dirt that we got hit with this injunction. And the people that hit us with the injunction basically pled ignorance, that they knew about the permit, but didn't think it would ever be. They knew about the project, but didn't think it would ever be permitted. Well, past 2016, we had a flood summit here that, we were the host for multiple parishes, including Livingston and East Baton Rouge, Iberville, all of them. That project was put up on the board at that meeting, okay? It was well vetted. It was in front of everybody that worked in the drainage department and any one of the surrounding parishes. Now, to say some people didn't pay attention, that's probably the fact. But we paid attention. And other than the help of the Punch Train Levy District, which we worked with through our Punch Train Levy District representatives, which we have several representatives on that board, and their chair, and their president, and their staff, for 5 years or so, and we got some buy-in, some support, and some money coming back into the parish for it. Other than that, it's East Ascension Drainage taxpayers' money. All right? Look, in this, we're the only people that's getting up and going to work and getting this job done every day, okay? So we need to continue. Thank you.
Ms. Terry, anything on the resolution?
No, I'm going to support it.
Mr. Johnny, anything? Benny on the Ms. Liz, you have everything that you need on the resolution to move forward. All right. Have a motion and second. No other discussion? Any opposition? Motion passed. We go to number 7, executive session. Roll call, Ms. Liz.
Motion to move to six.
Moved by Mr. Clark. to-
Second.
Second. Oh, he's got it.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Cagnolati,
Yes.
Commissioner Cazzo,
Yes.
Commissioner Kluat,
Yes.
Commissioner Dawson,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Chairman Dempsey Lambert.
Yes.
Commissioner Lawler,
Yes.
Commissioner Satterly,
Yes.
Commissioner Turner.
Can't remember last night. I saw it.
Motion to reconvene, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Benny, second by Mr. Terry. Reconvene. Number 7, executive session, Mr. Cody.
Executive skit.
Thank you, sir. Number 9, approval. This would be Mr. Ron.
This is the approval of a, proceed with a servitude sailback of 134 feet, the original 200 feet on Black Bayou at George Lambert Road, track 9841A-41, section 25, T9S R3E in Ascension Parish, in the amount of $6,500.
Motion to approve.
Moved by Mr. Randy, second by Ms. Terry. Discussion? Any opposition? Motion passed. Number 10, approval of amendment number 3. Mr. William, or Ron, it doesn't matter.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. What we're asking to do is to extend the contract term on HNTB's contract. We're still using them on quite a few issues. We're not asking for any more money, but we had them come to a meeting the other day with, where we had some DOTD engineers, and we just like to keep them under contract.
Motion to approve.
Moved by Ms. Terry,
Second.
second by Mr. Aaron. Any opposition to the motion? Mr.
Object.
Roll call, Ms. Secretary.
Commissioner Cagnolati?
Yes.
Commissioner Cazzo?
Yes.
Commissioner Kaluuya?
Yes.
Commissioner Dawson?
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson?
No.
Chairman Dempsey Lambert?
Yes.
Commissioner Lawler?
Yes.
Commissioner Sadlerly?
No.
Commissioner Turner?
Yes.
7 yeas, 2 nays, motion passed.
Motion passed. Number 11, discussion. Mr. Cody, we had executive session on this.
Yeah, so from the legal advice side of it, some of this stuff was covered in executive session. Now what I need y'all to do is a discussion of scope of work. As a prepared IGA, that's part of your packet, intergovernmental agreement. What I need the council or the board to do is have discussion as to what will be the scope of work that the board is willing to perform under this agreement, and then also to set a not to exceed amount, and then have a motion and a vote on a filled-in agreement.
Mr. Bill.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we, the scope of work, they would define the scope of work for the East Ascension Gravity Drainage District to be perform engineering for the project, which the project is phase 1 of 4, and perform work under the project within the not-to-exceed amount of $400,000.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Bill, second by Mr. Randy. Any discussion? Any opposition?
No.
Roll call, Ms. Secretary.
Commissioner Cagnolati?
Yes.
Commissioner Cazzo?
Yes.
Commissioner Kaluuya?
Yes.
Commissioner Dawson?
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson?
No.
Chairman Dempsey Lambert?
Yes.
Commissioner Lawler?
Yes.
Commissioner Sadlerly?
No.
Commissioner Turner?
No.
6 yeas and 3 nays, motion passed.
Thank you.
Motion passed.
What you doing?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion adjourned by Mr. Aaron, second by Mr. Dodd. Adjourned.